forward. Carving. That looks like me. Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? Ryan Cook here, and we are going to do a bark spirit face with Dremel only, and I think I'm going to use the Foredom because I want to use the die grinder bits because it's just going to be faster. But you can do all this stuff just with the Dremel, but let's get into it. I've never carved bark before. Jordy does say it flakes off, so I'm gonna do like a spirit face, but I'm gonna do an expressive spirit face. Maybe like or something to the point of expression. And that's what we're gonna talk about in this video, is expression in carving. Let's just say we're gonna elongate the face because this is skinny and the proportions are gonna be not right. So we're gonna make him a bit longer. Maybe we'll do something like that. Something like that. I don't know why, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a selfie. So now that I see that this is how the face is gonna be, I'm gonna create that expression. I start to look for the lines and how your face pulls different things, the wrinkles in your nose, the way the skin pulls from the top of your nose, and the lines in your eyes, and the expression of your forehead. You always look for those types of things. Like when you're doing a face, anytime I'm doing a face, like if it's like this, I exaggerate it to the point where it's like, because then you can really start to see the lines and how things are exaggerated. That's what we're doing. We're doing an exaggerated expression on a spirit face in wood that I've never carved before. So let's do it. Yee-hoo-hoo! Buckle up. Okay guys, so here we go. I'm gonna use the Foredom. This is a 1/2-inch flame bit, orange. It's just turned black because it's getting old. And we're just gonna block this thing out. I'm gonna do it like here. And we're gonna elongate the mouth and do a beard. I've never carved this stuff before, so let's just see how it goes. All right, let's go. Woo!
So right away, I'm just looking to shape out the top of the head, and I like to give a little line. You know, if it's starting one way and coming down the other way, that's kind of what I'm always thinking about, you know, like an S shape. Right now I'm just focusing on scratching away all the bark and revealing the surface of where I'm going to carve, and then I'll start thinking about placement. I personally like to shape in the nose and the eyebrows first. So right away I know that it's an expressive face, so I'm going to shape out a high eyebrow and then get the nose in.
Okay, so here we go. We're gonna switch to a flame bit Saburrtooth green and carve this. I mean, you can see a little line here, so I'm assuming that could possibly break off. But I'm just gonna leave it and just try this because this is pretty cool. I've never carved like this before. This is fun. And I'm using a Dremel 4300 with a flex shaft.
Once I start carving the mouth, I'm thinking about the expression. Now I'm looking at my picture and I'm looking at my mouth and I'm trying to imagine the depths and how the lips are, and I'm looking at like all the different planes. So that's something to think about when you're doing these kind of faces, especially when you're going for very expressive looks. So I always like to do the fingers trying to grab out of the log like it's the man trapped in the log. I don't know why, but you know, 5-6 years ago I came up with the idea I was going to do 1,000 of them, then never do them again ever. And I have always just done the fingers. So when you're doing the fingers, you're just doing those little cylinder shapes, and you know, the fingernails you can do in the detail and just make them all jagged because he's digging his way out, you know. It's just something fun, something I do. I think I'm at like 200 or something like that. I lost count, to be honest, but a bunch of them are signed. Just thought that'd be funny to tell you guys. Why not? So right now I'm using one of those super fine high-speed Dremel cutters. It's kind of like a small cylinder. They work really good for doing intricate detail. I prefer the bigger cones, but that was kind of all I had, so I used it, and I actually really liked it. It carved nice detail. When you're doing teeth, you know, think about where the gums are. Try to get the shadows above the lips, underneath them, and don't go crazy your first time. Just try. You know, I failed many times. It's all about trying and just going with the flow as you're going with it. So now I'm working in the eyes. I'm going to try to change the direction of the eyes because I think making him look a certain way is going to be more fun than having him just looking straight out, right? Create emotion, capture a time, capture a moment in time when you're doing any sculpture.
So what I see now is I'm just using this bit right here to create some expression. Now, when I'm doing these, I'm over amplifying everything like I said, but I'm digging in a little deeper with this bit because now it's time to play with light and shadow. And when you're playing with light and shadow, then you can really, you know, emphasize details. So right now I'm working on the teeth and I'm fixing the teeth as best I can to make them not look like hillbilly teeth, but to actually make them look like kind of normal person's teeth. When I'm working the eyes, I'm getting in the ball. I work the ball first. I'm gonna pull the face to the left because I just feel like with the way his face is like grabbing out, he's gonna be like looking bug-eyed and looking down. So like he's grabbing and he's pulled himself out of the wood. We're gonna give this piece away anyways, so here we go. Let's keep going and you know, just play with the shapes and the planes of the face.
One little helpful tip I like to do is, you can see right now I am scraping up after I've created an eyelid. I like to scrape the ball back up under that to, you know, show a little depth and separation. It's a good little tip. Hopefully it helps you too. Now, sorry my hands get in the way here, but really all I'm doing to create the pupils is I just sunk in the bit and kind of wedged it inside once it was inside, like a little half circle. Very small, very small, very small.
try to do a little flap sand. I don't know how to sand this stuff, so I actually don't know what to do next. But I feel like I'm close. So if it's close, I'll sand it. We'll see what it does and go from there.
What I'm using is a Sandoflex with a 100 grit paper with the extension you get from bobkingssawnuts.com. And one positive thing is the Saw Valley store is being worked on right now, so it should be up and running in about 6 to 10 weeks. And when that's happening, I'll have Sandoflex and paper and everything and all kinds of bits. It's gonna be great. You. I never expected the bark to look as cool as it does. The face is cool, I'm happy with the face, but I love the grain of this bark. Having never carved it before, I was just blown away at how it moved. And I mean, once I put the stain on in a few minutes, it was just like, ah, oh my God. Totally gonna carve this stuff all the time.
I'm really happy with how this turned out, you know? Like, this is a pretty cool piece. It's got a lot of color, it's got a lot of funk to it. I got a big brush, so I gotta try to like make this work without getting it on the bark, because I just feel like the bark doesn't need it. Wow, look at the color. Oh my goodness. The color's unreal. That is really cool. I've never carved this bark before. And you know, it's kind of interesting because there's not a lot of pull with the grain. But when you're carving expressions, you're just looking to kind of like emphasize or over amplify the expressions when you're looking to push in expression. That's one thing I think is going to be very good for your growth and very good for any carvers who are doing this. And being that this is my first time ever carving bark, it's safe to say this will not be my last time, because this is pretty sweet. This is pretty cool. I'm gonna bring this to my buddy Jake and give it to him. So let's do that. There's Jake right there. You. So this is my buddy Jake.
Hey guys.
I'll show you a wicked picture of a fish Jake and I caught together.
Nice, buddy.
So this
wow.
That's my first ever bark carving.
That looks like me.
Yeah.
That's wicked, man.
Yeah, it's birch bark.
That.
Pretty cool.
That's so dope.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
So we tracked him down. My buddy Jake, we're doing a huge carving for him and his awesome girlfriend in the next 2 months, and I'll check it out. So if you like this video, give it a like. My name's Ryan Cook, and this is my buddy Jake. He owns Anna's Interiors in Squamish, British Columbia. So come check him out if you're ever in town. He's the man, killer fisherman, one of my best pals from growing up. You!
Thanks, guys.
You!
Yeah.